do this. Let's go.
Let's do what?
Let's podcast. Is
Let's
is that the noun or verb? I didn't do English either. Whatever the word is that the adjective?
Let's get this show on the motherfucking road. Episode 43. I got it written down as 44. I lost a week somehow. Or I've added a week. Episode 43. Welcome everyone, and welcome Chris Osborne. We've got a guest on today. Say hi, Chris.
Hey, Chris.
This is making you feel a little bit awkward. Just say something, motherfucker.
This is like
I know, right?
an ongoing thing where whenever we get a guest, Alex just does not introduce people in a natural way at all. He's just like, hello. And then just silence. Like, hi?
I think we should have a rule on the show that whenever we have a guest, just Alex, just shut the fuck up, basically. That should be a rule of thumb. So, Chris, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming on, first, most importantly. Before we get started with the show, do you fancy giving your show a bit of a plug?
Why, thank you. I do a show called Play Comics where I look at video games based on comic properties and how well they stick to that source material. Going roughly chronologically, so I'm still back in like Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis stuff. But, if anybody is into those games or wants to learn about them and knows about some comic franchises that have games from back then, hit me up. We'll see if we can get you on the show.
Fantastic. And like you say, you do comic book games. Well, like, do you do the independent ones like with the Turtles and things like that as well? Or it's just you just stick to Marvel and DC, or how does it go?
Everything. Like one of the episodes that I point everybody towards to get a feel for the show is where I got my wife on as a guest and we looked at the Little Nemo comics and the game that went with that.
Oh, wow. Fantastic.
So, whether you know it's a comic or not, I do, so we're going to hit it sometime.
Did they ever do an Ecco the Dolphin comic book? Because I'd love to see, like, you compare, like, how shit the comic must have been if there was to the game.
Oh, I wish they would have. Because that would just be insane.
That game was so weird. It was so weird.
You changed Ecco, bro. You changed Ecco. He's not like that. He's got so much more depth to his character.
My parents bought that for us because my brother and I wouldn't really let our sister play our Genesis. And so they wanted to kind of get her something that they thought she would enjoy. And it's like, oh, it's a game about a dolphin. Yes, that went about as well as you'd expect.
That's also, it's an awesome idea for a channel like doing the comparisons there. That just come from like a love for both, I imagine.
Yeah, I grew up playing the games, but I never really had too much experience reading the comics or anything. So it's just a way for me to go back and kind of learn the comic characters more properly than just playing the games.
And that's great to hear, because like when we ventured into doing superhero bar fight, we thought we were quite knowledgeable. We thought we knew quite a bit.
Yeah, nobody knows shit about anything. That's what I'm really starting to pick up.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like I did a show. I'll give him a proper shout out later. But I did a show with Jesse Cooper, and he goes through the encyclopedia of all Marvel heroes. I was like, I'll go on the show. I'll do superhero bar fight, bitch. Oh my god. He was like, do you know who such and such is? And I was like, no. Do you know what they do? No. So
I don't want to spoil too much, but I just recorded with him for some episodes.
Oh, right.
And I had heard of one of the characters that we did.
Yeah. And I think one of them we did was Nebula. And I was like, I know Nebula. I know that one. But like, here's me going, oh yeah, Nebula's so cool in Guardians of the Galaxy. She's like a robot and all stuff. And he's like, yeah, she's nothing like that in the comic books. I was like, oh, okay. Oh, it was really good though. I love talking about new comic books and things and new characters that we don't know about. And that's why we do Superhero Bar Fight, because we like to learn as we go along. So it's a great idea.
I like just messing people's with their expectations of who it should be. Like if ever you go through the comments on Superhero Bar Fight, it's just constantly like, this wouldn't happen because of such and such, and I'm just reading it just thinking, I do not give a shit what happens in the comic books. Like I refer to zero source material.
Yeah, it's good fun. It's good fun. Okay, so we start with a couple of shout outs. First of all, I've updated the Wix page. We will get a proper website at some point, but the Wix page is looking great at the moment. If you go onto, we will. If you,
we won't.
I'd like to get an app, but they're super expensive. They get all these things that pop up. A free app. You can have a free app, and then you make the app, and they go to launch the app. You need to subscribe to £30 a year or something stupid, or £30. But yeah, on the Wix page, you've got all the pictures of pretty much every single one we've done since season 0, and you just click on the pictures, and it takes you straight to the audio. So if you don't want to listen to them all, you can pick which ones you do want to listen to, which is great. Nobody really likes a web page, though, to be honest.
You need to fix that skyscraper picture in the background.
Really, don't you? Like,
no, it looks like an old screensaver on Windows XP.
I'm using a lot of the stock photos on there because when you put a picture on the website like that, it's got to be doctored for the site. Yeah. So, okay. Also, as well, the weekly Bazaar this week is going to be dropping on Friday, and it's going to be with Neil Humphrey. Garrett is in San Diego, so he hasn't been able to sit down with me, but we did a good show, me and Neil. I've already mentioned Jesse Cooper from the Alphabet Flight podcast. Everyone that's associated with us, just give them a look. I've put a link onto his show on there. Like I said, encyclopedia A to Z of Marvel characters, and he has lots of spin-offs as well, different conflicts and things like that. And he just talks about everything about them, due to their height, the statistics, what they look like. It's a really good show. I was really privileged to go on there. And then Lance Ostresser. He's a collector of fan bases. I've been chatting to him today. He's agreed to come on Thors-Kin, and we're going to be talking about the upcoming Teen Titans live action TV series. Now, his Facebook pages aren't just a collection of fans that gossip about the shows. He does them for all the CW shows, but he includes members of the cast and crew as well. They're all part of this Facebook page. He knows his shit, so we're going to get him on the show. And he said, "Can I just give all of his Facebook pages a shout out, and then he'll come on the show." So he's got
that's bribery. That's what that is.
So he's got one for Supergirl. He's got a Facebook group for Arrow, The Flash, DC Legends of Tomorrow. Bearing in mind, this is, he has like stuntmen and costume designers, all people that work on the show associated with these groups. It's fantastic. They got the DC CW crossover events, the DC streaming channel discussion group, My Live DC chats, the Doom Patrol, Gotham, and there's a couple more here, which is DC Cinematic Animated Universe, which is awesome, by the way. Lightning, they discussed the TV show. Deathstroke, which has caused a lot of intrigue. Like, why have they created a Deathstroke live TV thing? So you'll find out more about that. DC TV Universe crew, Young
Jesus
Justice
fucking
season
Christ,
3.
how many groups are you going to list through?
And the Green Lantern Corps. He wanted me to shout them out, and they said that's the condition. So they are all the Facebook groups he does. Just check them out. I'm going to put a link to the one I'm part of, and all the links to them will
I feel
be
sorry for whoever
there.
you managed to get admin on all them.
Do you know what? Their admin sounds fantastic because they pull in hundreds of people a day, like fans that all sit and talk about these shows. It's fantastic.
Awesome.
That's just insane. How do you have time for all that?
I know. It's crazy, isn't it?
It's dedication.
But he's a great chap, and he does know his stuff. And I was talking to him today, and I think he'll be really good for Thors-Kin and for Superhero Bar Fight as well. We should do like a corporate kind of, we did a couple for the Pod Tips crew. Mm-hmm. We should do a corporate Superhero Bar Fight for him. Now, one last shout out, but this one's important, especially. Chris will appreciate this one. Anyone that's part of the Underdog Facebook group, you'll know Rhett Hall and Issa Wuri. They've just started doing a podcast called We Are Nice Guys. They'd like to do them on Facebook Live. They record the audio afterwards, and it's a fantastic show. Two guys that I've never met before, opposite sides of the pond. And it's just the development of their friendship. They meet up, they chat, they talk to the listeners on Facebook Live. It's really good. So I'll check that out. Again, I'll put the link on our Facebook page for that. And that's that for the shout outs. Okay.
Wow.
You guys can talk now if you like.
Wow. I thought we spoke about this. You need to keep that bit short and sweet.
I think we covered everything we need to cover today. It's been nice talking to you all.
Yeah, thanks for your time. It's, thanks for coming out. And...
I feel so bad, but I had obligations, So, yeah, thanks for everyone that's helped us. So, on with the show.
I don't even know what's happened in the last week now.
I completely forgot what we're talking about, so this is going to be really fun.
I think we should cover last week's superhero bar fight. Jimmy, you can take the lead on that. I'm fed up with the sound of my own voice.
Yeah, so have you got all the polls ready for what actually happened?
Mm-hmm.
So we had Pyramid Head versus Ryu, which every single comment was Pyramid Head's immortal, try again, basically. Little do people know that we don't care about rules. Doesn't matter.
First of all, Chris, who do you reckon would win out of them two? Ryu out of Street Fighter versus Pyramid Head.
Well, see, I'm going to pick Ryu because I'm going to assume you can also pull an evil Ryu, split him off, and just team up on Pyramid Head. Because why not?
Did not do.
We come up with the logic that Ryu takes on bigger, badder people on the game and easily, goes through them. And not just that, as a young girl with a couple of pistols beating Pyramid Head, well, giving her enough time to get out of Silent Hill or do whatever she needs to do. So I'm pretty sure Ryu is fine in that sense. And we had Ryu bumping into fucking Scorpion from Mortal Kombat. So, do you know what I mean? That's seriously we take this fucking thing back. The polls are 76% for Ryu, 24% Pyramid Head. So we got that one right. People like that.
Straight after that, we had, what did we do? Galen Marek from Force Unleashed versus Master Chief, which I kind of pulled a little bit of a fanboy on that one and just completely pushed for Master Chief to win, which I'll only do once per season.
Are you like when the president becomes the president, you have that one law that you can pretty much bend?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Just like if I've got that big red button and I've got the power to invade a country, going to war.
With Master Chief.
Yeah.
Chris, have you played much Force Unleashed?
I haven't. And it's been a while since I've done it. I know, I'm a horrible person. Like I said, I play retro things a lot more.
Yeah, to be fair, there's nothing wrong with that at all.
No. Well, this one was okay, so it's 68% for Galen Marek because we decided that he was going to be a Sith. Because with the Force Unleashed games, you can go down the path of the Jedi or of the Sith. And we thought if he's going to attack Master Chief, he's going to be a Sith. We had Master Chief for the win, by the way. So lead the poll. Jimmy's fault.
I reckon the way in which we did it was pretty believable. I think he's actually quite underrated, to be honest. All of the Spartans are.
Yeah.
You're not convinced still, but it's okay. You can lose in the next one. I'll let you do it. Soon
as you start fucking with Star Wars people, that's when shit gets dicey.
Do you know what? I was watching this really random thing on Netflix. They've got this show where they look at all really old toys. And the first episode, they're going over all the Star Wars toys. And I knew it was big. I knew it was because my friend Chris used to have loads of them. And but I didn't realise just because it's a little bit before my time, just how big the old school Star Wars toys industry was, and like how crazy the fans get about it and all the collectors and stuff, spinning off randomly, like using just Star Wars as a random segue. And how they had like the old like rocket launcher Boba Fett models that were going for like in mint condition for like 20 grand.
Fuck me.
Yeah.
No, it's fucking ridiculous. I used to go out to the flea market and there'd be people with their old Star Wars action figures out there trying to sell them. And you'd have all these old guys just running over there. Oh, this is the wrong Darth Vader. And just throw it back on the table.
It's crazy how like people can look at it, isn't it? And it's just like that's the one. Like, and they were going into all details about how it's like the hue of like the colour of the hair can be slightly different, and it's from production line number whatever, and it's like there's only 5 of them in existence, and they're worth so much more. It's absolutely crazy.
Over here, Chris, we have a show called Antiques Roadshow. Just imagine
we have that over here too.
Just imagine a Star Wars version of that. Oh my god!
I bet your guys' Antiques Roadshow is so much better than ours. So we've got like really boring British people who wear too much fake tan presenting it. So it's just like you watch it and you just like head in your hands just looking at the people presenting it. Where I imagine a stateside version of that would actually be pretty cool.
It's on PBS and it sounds like golf announcers.
Oh no!
Yeah, same.
They went full on Antiques Roadshow then.
It's bullshit, that program has. They're like, I have this priceless vase, and it was just sat up in the loft, and I've had it for so many years, I didn't realise, and I'm thinking of they're like, this has been in my family for 300 years, and I'm going to be the twat that sells it.
But they never actually do. They're just like, yeah, it's worth £17,000, and it's just like, oh, that's nice. So, well, are you going to sell
I'll
it?
keep it then.
Yeah.
Like, what cool shit you gonna buy in exchange with the really boring stuff that you've bought?
The husband's next to her going, sell it and buy the Darth Vader for 20,000. Oh god. Okay, so yeah, superhero bar fight. We caused a fight there, but you know what? Fuck it. It is what it is. Superhero bar fight's our baby, and we do what we want with it. And it's fun. We like to talk about it. It's fun. So that's that. Later on, we've got a couple more fights. We just discussed. We've got a big one, actually.
Yeah. Very, very, very big one. We've got Deadpool going up against Iron Man, which is going to be... I've got no idea how that one's going to go down.
Me neither.
And what else we got? We've got Commander Shepard versus Solid Snake.
That's a bit better. I like that one. That's one we can really get our teeth into. The Iron Man one and Deadpool one is something that is just going to be caused. It's just going to be too much destruction, I think. You know, it's going to be too much. We'll discuss it later. Okay, so what have you guys been up to this week, anyway?
Let's fire it over to
Chris.
Oh, I mean, just stupid work and stupid working on my podcast. I've got like a 4-day stretch where I'm recording with 8 people.
Oh, wow.
So we're going to be probably switching it from every 2 weeks to a weekly show because I'm going to have the backlog to do it.
And to do this, I'm guessing you have to sit and play a lot of video games, right?
A lot of them, with where I am, I've played already before.
Okay.
So, like, I'm not going back. Like, I've played Justice League Task Force a lot anyway. It's a really crappy fighter on Genesis and Super Nintendo with a bunch of Justice League characters. I mean, I've played that a lot. I'm probably not going to go back and play it before I record that episode with somebody.
Yeah.
And so like, you know, I'll go and watch some gameplay videos from some stuff or things like that just to make sure there's not something I've missed.
Yeah.
If you got to the point, I forgot what it's called, but the old Wolverine game on Super Nintendo, and I think it was on Genesis as well, was Adamantium Rage. Yes, have you done that one yet?
I have it. I haven't found anybody brave enough to do that one yet.
Oh, well, you've got a plucky volunteer sitting down right in with you right now. I loved that game. It was awful.
It's awful.
It was so
those are the best
terrible,
episodes, though, too.
Oh, jeez, I can't remember anything sort of specific about it, but I just remember playing that Anon emulator afterwards as well, quite recently. But just the character model of just old school yellow suit Wolverine going around with adamantium claws, just messing stuff up in 16-bit was just amazing.
Yeah,
Absolutely
we'll definitely
amazing.
get you hooked up with that one.
Awesome.
Yeah, you two have so much fun with each other.
How do you go up? It's going to sound like a really silly question because sometimes it's obvious, but how do you go and select its source material? Do you have to do a lot of research into what the developer based it on originally? Do you just go, there's a Wolverine episode 1? Like, how do you?
So, like, I'll go to the Wikipedia page for the game or the game facts page for the game or something like that and see if it was specifically based on something. And if it was, I mean, it's obvious. I just go look at that and I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, it's just kind of an overarching, this is Wolverine history kind of thing.
All right. Have you ever got it badly wrong? Have you had any comments on YouTube like, "Hey, fucker," like we get?
I haven't put it up on YouTube yet, so I don't have to worry about the YouTube comment section.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah,
which is probably not going to change because I'm scared of them. But I mean, I haven't heard anything yet. There was one episode where I was thinking I was going to get my wife to edit the show because she's working from home. And Matt Sanderson from Semi-Intellectual Musings and I were doing Captain America and the Avengers. And while she was sitting there and I was kind of showing her how to edit it, she started giving us a bunch of shit because we completely forgot about one of the characters in there. And like, she'd gone and like, this guy is so cool. I know you don't know who he is. And I can't remember who he is right now either. So like, we had to stop editing so that she could record a little editor's note to pop in and tell all the listeners about how dumb we both were.
Awesome.
First of all, you must have an amazing missus. Like, the fact that you could be like, "Babe, I need to play this game for work. Like, I need to sit here and play this. You got no choice." And not that, just she'll sit and edit your podcast and come on the podcast with you. That's amazing. Well done.
Yeah, I got real lucky with that.
Okay, that's awesome. Like I mean, I don't blame my wife. She's got this weird Colombian accent, that's what they sound when they're from Colombia. But she won't come on because of that. She's a bit conscious about it. I talk about my show and her eyes roll so heavy they sort of creak like a rusty gate. It's funny. But that's awesome. Well done, man. I really do commend your missus for that. Right, where were we going? What were we talking about?
I don't know. I got really into thinking about what retro games I want to play now. do you know what's really annoying me though? You'll roll your eyes at this because, like, I imagine when you play all this, do you do it on like the original hardware?
As much as I can, because I do have it.
And well done for doing so. I don't have the original hardware, so I went out a couple of years ago and bought an Ouya. Which everyone was laughing at the time, and I was like, actually, it runs pretty smoothly. And I threw the charger out, the mains part to it, and I thought I kept another one, which happened to be a phone charger with something similar at the end. And I thought, that's the one, I'll keep hold of that. And I hooked it all up only the other week, actually, thinking, oh, yeah, I'm going to play some, whatever it was, probably some Pokemon or something like that. Something really awful. And yeah, I went to plug it in and it didn't fit. And now I'm going to have to spend like another however much on a brand new whatever I end up getting.
That's so awesome though, that is. I went around Jimmy's once and he was like, "I've got this Ouya." And I was like, "What's that?" And he was like, "You can play Golden Axe." I was like, "Put it on." Put it on. It was so good. So good.
Yeah, I mean, I've got my Wii hacked up. I've got some Xboxes I've hacked up.
Yeah.
My Dreamcast, all you have to do is burn a disc and do whatever you want on that.
Yeah, that's the downfall of Sega.
I think companies should like embrace that more. I really do. Like, I think Nintendo at the moment is staring away from it because they know that they can put out a whatever mini, and people will just lap it up. But I think like they should come out and just embrace the fact that people are doing it already. Just let people do it.
I mean, I've had the same emulator and ROM files since I was in middle school, and that was like 15 years ago now.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, I mean, I'm not going to get rid of them. And when I got them, it was pretty much the only way to play those old games anyway. So,
yeah.
I don't feel bad about it.
I remember the first time I saw someone fire up Doom on their PC without a disc, and I was like, what is going on here? It was just had it in a file, just fired it up, and I was like, what the fuck? The world is amazing. Like, you don't need a disc anymore. It was so good. My little brother, Connor, is crazy about retro games. He plays Doom like, I think he's probably played it more than anyone in the world. He got, his name's, I forgot the name of his YouTube channel, because it's Scorpio, but he's got a number on the end of it, and I've forgotten the number. But he just sits there playing like PlayStation 1 Silent Hill, or the old Doom, or these games, Duke Nukem and stuff, and people just sit there watching. It's crazy, isn't it? Like, the nostalgia.
People love their old stuff.
Yeah, it's nostalgic, isn't it? And that's what it's all about.
It's like now, like, even though I spend probably about like 1% of my time playing retro games, like whenever it comes up into conversation, my eyes light up. I'm completely there. Like, it just takes you back to playing it, like all the originals. That's what you grow up on.
I don't have anything cool sitting here within arm's reach except the PS1 screen.
Is that just a screen?
It's just a screen, but it screws into the back of the little PS1.
Yeah.
The power goes into that, so you just need the one power.
Yeah.
It goes straight into the back of that, so that's all you need there to play. But you can still hook it up to the TV because it's got the plug in the back too.
Oh my god,
that's awesome!
Pretty sweet.
Have you ever watched he's got a channel, Ben Tech, I think it is, and he goes and just rips apart PCs, consoles, and everything, and he just mashes them all up into different things. Like, he's made handhelds, he's made like a PS4, Xbox One, Wii U at the time combo. Like, those old combo VHS. I don't know whether you had them in the States, where you had like VHS and then you had DVD underneath, but they were like 3 meters by 3 meters dimensions. He made something like that with them all in. I
don't know how I feel about those, honestly, because it's really cool that you can do it, and I'd love to have it. Yeah. But you're destroying the original hardware.
Yeah. So I'd love to have the know-how to be able to do it, and then to actually make something cool, because whenever I see them, they're like that. They're like a PS1 screen, and they've realised, oh, there's a port here. I can use that port for such and such. But then they hook up like a Boeing 747 jet to it, and then like plant it into their lawn, and it's just like, look what I've created. It's just like, really? You could have done something so much cooler.
Yeah. I was going to say, talking about Antiques Roadshow, you reckon one day they're going to be like, here is a PlayStation 1 with original laser disc. It's got the lens, and they just sell it for thousands.
The guy who knows way too much about it is like, not many people know, but if you knock it, the disc jumped and your game paused halfway through, and everyone's like, oh, never.
Let's flip it around to the back. You see the extra plugs here? Yeah. This makes your model extra special.
I remember the first time I rage quit in a game. I was getting my ass thrashed, and Tekken, I think it was. No comments, Alex. And
was it by me?
No. And I just went up to it, and I remember pressing the eject button, and the screen just continued to play for like 5 minutes and then just stopped. Like, you can't do that now with games. Like, how they made it work, I have no idea.
Well, you need any help you can get on Tekken, to be honest.
Shut up.
Oh, anyway, has anybody seen the new Bumblebee trailer? Have you seen this?
Yeah, I don't know how I feel.
I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen it, Chris. Basically, obviously, it's a prequel to Transformers. You got Bumblebee, who we got told was like Originally, was it the Fallen King, the last Transformers?
See, this is what I didn't get. Right, the last film set Bumblebee up that he's been here all along from like years and years and years ago. He's been this like mean motherfucker who just annihilates people. He's always there. He's like the scene in X-Men where Sabretooth and Wolverine are in every war ever.
Yeah,
like there's some vampire kind of thing. They set Bumblebee up for that, and then all of a sudden, apparently, he rocked up early 90s. What's that?
Like a small version of him, and you got a young girl, and yeah, they're kind of. I think they're doing the whole Sam Wiki thing, you know, where they kind of develop. First of all, Bumblebee's a fucking slut. Like, he goes from user to user to user, and he develops a relationship with these people, and then he fucks them off for somebody else. So they're going to obviously develop a relationship. He's a bug, like a VW Beetle, I think, at the start.
Yeah.
I don't know. It looks different. He looks smaller. He looks like he's damaged. Like, you know, we get told he was damaged in the first Transformers movie. But I just don't think it's going to be any good. What did you think? Did you like it?
I don't know what they're actually going to do with it, because unless I missed like really important part of the trailer, I didn't see any bad guys of any sort. I didn't see any Decepticons. I didn't know what they're actually doing with the story. Is it going to just be like a rom-com between a transforming car and a young girl?
Well,
I'm not quite comfortable with that.
There is a scene where she puts an audio cassette. It's going all around the internet. Apparently, she's put it into his dick. Like, she's going, here you go. And she puts Rick Astley on, and he's like, never going to give you up. And he spits it out across the room. So, first of all, fuck you, Bumblebee. There's nothing wrong with Rick Rolls, okay? Don't fuck with the Rick Rolls. I don't know. I'm going to put it on my maybe list.
Yeah.
What about you, Chris? Are you big like movie nerd? Are you into your movies and things?
I've kind of gotten out of it just because when we cut cable, I didn't see a bunch of trailers for stuff all over the place.
Yeah.
And I never really liked the other Michael Bay Transformers movies, so these new ones have just kind of I don't care about them.
No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's one of those things that I like watching because you can just like forget about what you're watching, and it's just explosions and robots shooting each other.
Yeah, like if somebody else wanted to watch it, you know, whatever, I'll watch it with them, but I'm never going to decide to watch it myself.
Yeah, that's the thing with those kind of films, is that you can have it, weirdly enough, as the subject that we might get into in a bit, like as a guilty pleasure thing, but they're not good films. Like, they're really not, especially Age of Extinction, the fourth one, that was awful.
Yeah, that was terrible. That's the first. It's a robot. Oh my God, it's a robot. Mark Wahlberg. So yeah, that movie is going on my maybe pile. I couldn't really give a shit about it. What isn't going on my maybe pile, which absolutely impressed the shit out of me, was the new trailer for Halloween. I don't know if you've seen this, but it looks fucking awesome. I mean, awesome. I don't do horror movies, but he's coming back in a big bad way. Jamie Lee Curtis is back. I think the last one she was in was H2O with Josh Hartnett. And it shows Mike Myers in like a mental asylum, but like a max security thing. So he doesn't have the mask on. He stood in this like red square on his exercise yard, and this guy walks up and he's like, he just holds up the mask that he's used to wearing, and all the other patients in the place just got going fucking nuts. Why the fuck you go up to Mike Myers and go, oh, by the way, you forgot this, buddy, you know, and give him his mask and But yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis, by the way, looks like she's showing her age now. I always thought she was kind of a MILF or a GILF, if you imagine. Like she was always quite hot, but now she's showing her age. But she kicks all kinds of ass in this trailer. So I'm really, really excited about this. The mask looks deteriorated and old, as if it has come from like the 70s and the original movies. And Mike Myers, like the kills look brutal already in the trailer. So I really want to see that. I might go to the cinema to watch that one. Really excited.
Awesome.
So
yeah, I still haven't seen it. And confession, I don't think I've ever watched all the way through any of the Halloween films.
Fuck you! What?
Long distance on that one because
Yeah.
I haven't either.
Yeah.
What? Okay, thanks for coming to Thors-Kin, folks.
No, I've just never. I don't really like shitty B movies, and like all of the old horror films are all shitty B movies. Sometimes, like you may be able to persuade me to sit down and watch like a Jason film or something like that, but I don't know. I'd never really been into them.
I think the last good one was H2O, and that was corny as fuck. Like I really liked that one. And then they did the one with Busta Rhymes, H2O, Halloween Resurrection, and yeah, that was a bit strange. But no, I get you. I mean, they're all hit and miss, those Halloween films, but this one, I hope it reignites the franchise, because I think we need something like that. You know,
Yeah.
going back to the nostalgic sort of thing.
I mean, if it's done well, like they redid it. They've done. Was it Texas Chainsaw Massacre they redid? Because I know they redid that about
one of those.
3 times,
Yeah.
didn't they? But they did. Was it the latest one that was actually decent, that people were like actually happy with?
Yeah, I
didn't
think there's
watch
Texas
it.
Chainsaw Massacre. Didn't they try to redo the Poltergeist as well recently? I don't know how well that went. I think they fly under the radar sometimes. I think they've redone Halloween, actually. I'm pretty sure they've redone it. Or was that Nightmare on Elm Street?
That was-
Fucking, do you know what?
That was Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think.
Well, anyway, moving on. We've come here for a reason today. I thought we'd get a bit of geek news in there. We couldn't not, but we've come here for a reason today. I come up with an idea for the today's theme of the show, and I've asked both Jimmy and Chris to go away and make a list of their guilty pleasures. And we've all gone away and listed guilty pleasure movies, music, crushes, and games. And I just realised I've only written down 2 games.
It's all right.
I got distracted.
I've got like 1 on some of those lists, so it's fine. I'm relying on you to fill out the rest.
So guilty pleasures, and I'm sorry, Chris, to put you in this position. Oh, welcome to the show. Now whip your dick out so we can see it. Like your most guilty pleasures, the things you don't really want to talk about. So I'm sorry to put you in that position, buddy.
Yeah, it is what it is. We'll make it work.
Okay. Right. Okay. So we'll start off with movies. I've written down 5 movies. 5 movies that I don't necessarily like to. It's not that I don't like to. I don't give a shit, to be honest. But 5 movies I probably shouldn't like. Okay. And the same goes for you guys. I think we should go with our guest first. Have you written down any movies that you like that you probably shouldn't?
Yeah, I've got a few.
Okay.
I mean, for the most part, I'm pretty not caring if people know that I like things.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I've had to, kind of work around that a little bit. But first thing, so my wife and I.
You say that, and then you start with a big grimace on your face. It's like, oh, do I say this?
Hear it. So my wife and I were on a tour of Europe with this Australian tour company on a bus, and for some reason, some girl on the tour decided she wanted to bring Twilight to watch. Why you bring a movie to watch on a tour, I have no idea. So we're sitting there, and you're like, oh, okay, let's watch Twilight. Oh, whatever. I'll try to go to sleep. And I couldn't fall asleep, and I have no idea why. So I'm sitting there watching it, hoping that it'll bore me enough to go to sleep. And I'm not going to say I like it. I can't go that strong, but it wasn't nearly as bad as everybody was making it out to be.
Oh, okay. I kind of had to power through the Twilight movies, and they got good they were okay up to like the 3rd one, and then they just jumped off a cliff for me.
Yeah, that first one is the only one I've ever seen. And we got to there were 10 minutes left, and it really bothers me to not finish things. So one of my wife's friends is really into it, and we were over at her place, and we watched the last 10, 15 minutes of it, however much it was, just so I could finish it and be done.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. I mean, it is what it is. Twilight is liked by guys as well, isn't it?
What? Sorry?
James?
Say that again.
Twilight is liked by guys as well, isn't it?
I don't know. I've never seen any of them. So I made
good for you.
Yeah, I made a pact to myself. I'd never watch any of them out of sheer principle.
I know you're
Yeah,
today.
the bus is the only reason I did.
Yeah.
That's bullshit. That's bullshit, by the way, because I know your missus, and I know that if she wanted you to watch something, she'd grab your nuts.
No, she I think she's got like each one on DVD, about like 7 copies. But yeah, today she's never watched one while we've been together.
I'm the same with Grease. I refuse to watch that shit. I hate Grease. I don't know what it is. We tried watching it before. I was like, turn this wank off. Honestly, I can't do it. So what else have you got on your list, Chris?
I mean, that's really the big one for me. But a bunch of stupid kids movies that have come out way too recently for me to say I liked them when I was a kid and still like them.
What about you, Jimmy? What have you got down
there? Jesus Christ. The old Godzilla films for me. And I'm talking like
nothing wrong with those. All
the way back to the old Japanese ones. Like proper old school Godzilla model with the 2-headed dragon, whatever he was called, with Mothra. But most importantly, what's his name? Is it Matthew Broderick?
Oh, the 1997 one.
Yeah, the one that everyone absolutely hates on. I thought that was a beast of a film. No pun intended. That wasn't intended at all. I thought that was an awesome film. At the time, if you look back at it now, like the CGI is worse than watching Alien 3. But still.
The girl in that film got me fucking... I was only about 13, I think, when it came out. And Jesus Christ, I wanted to fuck her so bad. I'll go for that awkward, like, puberty stage where I just wanted to shag out. But that woman in that film, I'll tell you, she's awesome. But that film gave... Go on.
My favourite bit, even thinking back to it now, was the bit where he's coming towards the old Japanese guy or like Thai guy or whatever it was on the end of the pier, and you can see the spines coming like towards the screen. He's getting bigger and bigger, and this little guy's just running towards the screen, and all piers exploding behind him. And the toys as well. I had old Godzilla toys, which I can't remember how old I was when that first came out. What's 89? So about 10 years old. So I was still like well within the age of like action figures and stuff like that. And I just remember getting all the merchandise from it.
That film gave me fucking jarhead syndrome, by the way. I've been rocking and shaking for a sequel to that movie for so long. They left an egg. They left an egg in the stadium, and I was like, well, we're going to get a sequel. And there was nothing. There was nothing, ever. And I was like, why have you done this to us? Like, it was so horrible what they did.
I think when they do Godzilla versus King Kong, they need to like have Godzilla's little brother and have... like that actually happened, just being all of a sudden like that's canon. Just like, how is that canon? But yeah, that egg needs to hatch after all these years.
Did you ever see the Godzilla cartoon?
Yes. Do you know what? That was back when my granddad was still alive. Are we talking the old Cartoon Network one?
Yeah, with Godzuki and everything.
Yeah, and I always thought that was a spin-off of the film. I remember the first time I ever discovered it, and I was like, oh, it's a Godzilla cartoon of the film. And I remember watching it, and it was like, this is not anything like the film whatsoever. This is not the same sub-universe. It's not canon.
But it's so bad in all the right ways.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember the one episode where they were on a ship and they were getting attacked by something, and they were getting like holes punched in the bow of the ship by something, and it was just like the worst acting you've ever seen. Even in some of those old cartoons, it was the worst thing on TV. And I remember watching it and thinking back then, like, when you're not a fanboy when you're like 10, 11 years old, you know what's good and what isn't. I was like, no, that's going off.
Okay, I'll give you one off my list as well. The Phantom Menace. I've gone about it a lot. And I've got no problem with telling people that I love this movie. Episode 1. It was like, for me, I was never a big Star Wars fan. As a youngster, I mean, I am now. I absolutely loved them. But this was like my entrance into those movies. It kind of grabbed me. Fuck's sake. It kind of grabbed me. And it's like, it was bright and it was colorful and it was exciting. The pod racing and yeah, now when I look back at it, there's a few dumb bits in the movie, but that was my gateway into Star Wars. I was a late bloomer with Star Wars, so yeah, I'll always love the Phantom Menace, despite what people say. And it's kind of made me a bit more robust as a person, I suppose. Because fuck you, if you don't like it, I like it. And you know what I mean?
Yeah, you've got to weather a certain type of storm to publicly say that you like the Phantom Menace on the internet.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it on Reddit. Fuck that shit. Oh, God.
I'm starting when we finally have kids, I'm starting my kids on Phantom Menace first and going that way.
Yeah. I think you've got to because
you can watch that when you're younger.
Yeah.
Then you can watch A New Hope. So we're going to go like that. And I'm going to hope that I can get them through the Vader reveal, before they go to school.
Yeah. Someone raised a really good point when we were talking about it. I don't know whether it was you, Alex, or you heard something, but someone raised a point that has stuck with me since the couple of months that we did that podcast, and that was that they've continued to always make Star Wars films to appeal to kids. It's just that they make it for kids of the generation that it was made, and after a certain point, you're no longer that generation. And I think that's why people aren't into each trilogy. That, like, these new ones, they're made for like a generation now, so everything's again more colourful, and can we make toys of it with the types of toys that are popular at the moment?
Yeah. I think that was Ryan. Pretty sure
it was. Yeah, it was Ryan.
Ryan, Sketchy Connection. Have you got another movie? We're gonna get through this a bit quicker because otherwise we're not gonna have enough time. And I've got some bangers.
I'm gonna come out and just say the new Baywatch film was awesome. And screw anyone who doesn't like it, because you just didn't understand it.
Oh my God, Jimmy's credibility is just gone. That film.
Top that one, bitch.
That was, oh my God, I don't think I'll be able to top that one. That was hated by, I think you're the only person. Have you seen this one, Chris?
I haven't seen this one at all.
Oh God. I haven't seen it. I don't think I'm going to see it.
The whole film ripping the fact that they're doing a new Baywatch film. It's just like they make, like, they break the fourth wall at points and just like, well, that sounds way too far fetched to actually make it into a movie. And it's like the fact that they did that, I've got respect for it. Like I think I understood what they were trying to do, and I think everyone else in the entire world didn't.
Okay, so it was misunderstood. Yeah. I've got Tusk on my list. Tusk. Kevin, I'm a big
Kevin one.
Chris. So, me and Alex have known each other for about 5-6 years now, something like that. For the first 3 years of our friendship, he did not stop going on about Tusk and how amazing this film was.
Okay, so Kevin Smith, Jay and Silent Bob.
Mm-hmm.
So he went out and did some experimentation with movies. He made Red State. He made Tusk. He's made more serious movies. And Tusk was a horror film about a guy who gets captured and then turned into a walrus.
Okay, I like where this is going so far.
And Kev Smith even takes a piss out of that movie. Like, everyone takes the piss out of this movie, but I thought it was. I really did think. I thought the quality of the film was brilliant. Johnny Depp was fantastic in it. You had Haley Joel Osment from The Sixth Sense. He was great in it. I thought it was really good. I don't know why people hate it so much. There are some strange moments. I put it on for my wife. She didn't mind it. She didn't like it, but she didn't mind it.
Was there any stranger moments than Luke Skywalker sucking on the teat of a weird Star Wars walrus?
Wait, is that on your list?
No, it's not. But it sounds like it's in that realm. It sounds like it's actually in the realm of I don't know whether you get the reference, but the serial apist from Big Bang. The films that Penny stars in.
It's really good. I think you should watch it, Jimmy. I think you'd be pleasantly surprised. Like Johnny Depp for that film, he did it as a favor because Kev Smith's daughter's friends with his daughter, And as a favor, he's like, "Oh, come on the film for you." And he thought he was just going to come and do a couple of lines. He was playing a detective, but he turned up and started doing prosthetics with his nose and practicing accents and things like that. So it shocked him. He was like, "Oh my god, he's getting the full depth," So I really liked it. Okay, I think. Have you got any more movies, Chris?
Looking into the future, I'm actually probably going to go see Tag, and it's probably going to be something that people are going to think is horrible.
I like the look of this movie. It made me laugh. It made me laugh. Like,
is that the one with Jeremy Remner or whatever, however you pronounce his name? And it's Hawkeye.
Yep.
Yeah, and they're just playing this lifelong game of tag. It looks great. It really does look good. It's got that Hangover kind of feel to it, hasn't it? Yeah. I've done 2. You've done 2. Let's move on to music. Oh,
right. So no. I'm gonna get myself out of the way quickly on this one. I've not really got any guilty pleasure music because I'm like openly into pretty much anything. The one that I'm gonna set myself up for embarrassment from is not really that embarrassing because it was so long ago, and like you try and get any kid though that like in that era that didn't like it is like S Club 7. Back in the day, I don't know whether Chris,
I know who they are.
You know who they are.
Don't stop, never give up. Hold your head high and reach the top.
I didn't
It's just like watching their TV show.
You had the TV show?
Yeah, on I think it was ABC Family then.
Oh, you poor bastard. That's probably.
I never watched it.
Oh, well done.
I just had to be in the house while it was on.
I remember. Oh, and that and the Spice Girls are the really cheesy, embarrassing ones now that I grew up on. That I just don't really care.
Have you got any guilty pleasures for music, Chris? What do you like that you probably shouldn't say on air?
I'll still go put on Limp Bizkit on purpose.
Oh,
I admit it.
I love Limp Bizkit. I have all of their albums on my phone. I'm not even gonna.
That's not a guilty pleasure. That's just good taste in music.
I mean, not according to the people I hang out with.
I wear a backwards cap all the time and listen to Limp Bizkit. Cliche as fuck. It's crazy.
Go on, hit us with some singers.
On the top of my list and staying on top of my list is Will Smith, man. I fucking loved Will Smith when I was a kid, and people like if you're into your hardcore hip hop and things like that, you look at it and you'd be like, Will Smith, like, but he was good at making music, and he still is. Like, he's just released a YouTube clip of him rapping now, and he's still fucking got it, man. He's in his 50s. I loved Will Smith.
Some good clean rap. Nothing better than some good clean rap.
I mean, I get that he did a lot of covers. I get that. That's cheesy as fuck. And one of my favorite songs was one of his called "I'm Coming." But it didn't mean that back then. Not everybody was associating the word "coming" with that. You know, that was like pre-American Pie. No, I think you've got to be really clever to be able to kind of rap the way he does and not swear and be like. So I like that. Second on my list, Nickelback. I don't give a fuck what people say. I love Nickelback. Like,
weren't Nickelback voted like the most hated band ever?
This
long ago
was a bullshit article that was put in the Rolling Stone. I don't know what happened. I don't know what they did to piss off Rolling Stone, but they did a vote for the 100 most worst bands, and Nickelback were voted the worst band in history. And I don't know why they've done that, because, for fuck's sake, have you heard Pantera? Have you heard Pantera? Like, have you?
Yeah, they're better than Nickelback.
I don't know. I just think that guy's voice is just too powerful to put him as one of the worst. And I've grown up with him. You know, there's some songs that I really like, got me through shit times. And my last 3 aren't too bad. The last one is, I suppose. Number 3 is Ed Sheeran. I love Ed Sheeran. I think he's a really talented dude. I don't get why he's hated so much. Number 4 is Lady Gaga. Now, Lady Gaga, I used to hate with Venom. I used to hate her. But I've listened back to her music, like whether it's been on the radio. I haven't gone out and bought any of her albums. I listened back, and she's actually really clever. She's actually a really clever lyricist. Also, as well, on Fizz, and I'm not even sorry. He's Ollie Murs.
Ollie Murs.
Ollie Murs.
I think Lady Gaga is worse than that, Al.
I just think she's like, I'm not like a fan. I'm not going to walk around in spangly fucking Lady Gaga t-shirts, but she's someone I could say I don't mind listening to.
So when you start going around in meat dresses, we know where your influence is coming from. I'm not being part of a podcast that's got Lady Gaga as a subject matter for more than 30 seconds. We're moving on quickly.
No, I'm sorry, mate. All right, we'll get through this a bit quicker. Crushes. It used to make you hard.
So you cut out for me.
I think he's
crushes. I was talking celebrity crushes. He's got to have fancied someone you really shouldn't have. But Chris, you've got to have one at least. Or do you want me to go first, just to ease?
Yeah,
ease
you
it
go
in?
first on that one because I've got to think about it. I
Ease
knew I was
it.
forgetting one, and I probably forgot this one on purpose.
Now this one is one that every guy had, and that is the pink Power Ranger. Hey, Amy Jo Johnson. I fucking love that girl. Oh my god.
Why is that even in your... Can I just say as well, my girlfriend pointing this out, how much of a 13-year-old girl diary subject this is.
I want to try and embarrass people. That's the whole point of it. Like, if you clam up and...
That isn't even an embarrassing one, though.
Okay.
Everybody was into her.
Yeah, that's like... you weren't a normal young boy if you didn't.
Oh my god. And then fourth, I've got Jet from Gladiators. Remember Jet from Gladiators? You're probably too young.
Yes.
Did you have the Gladiators in the US? The
I
Gladiators.
think that's our thing anyway.
Is it?
Yeah, it's American Gladiators.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it is.
That was before my time. But I saw reruns. But I mean, I don't know who you're talking about though.
So, we had our own version.
Jet was the blonde one, wasn't it?
No, that was Lightning. We had, I remember them all. Jet was the dark haired one that used to put her fucking leg like behind her head.
Oh yeah.
Dark hair, yeah.
I really want your next one to be Wolf from Gladiators.
Sabrina the Teenage Witch, Melissa Joan Hart.
Never got
you
that.
You guys too. You're too young. Fucking.
No. I mean, I just don't. I never got that as a. I never found her hot.
My last one is Carol Vorderman.
Carol Vorderman.
I have no idea who you're talking about.
Okay, so Carol Vorderman did a show over here called Countdown, where they select random letters out and they make words. It's a really boring show, and she was a MILF, man. She was older and she was smart and she was attractive and like I don't know. I was probably going for a creepy porn phase, but but I don't know. It's just something about her. That's the older woman. That was, you know.
Yeah, Countdown's the kind of program that people watch if they're librarians and Antiques Roadshow isn't on at that time in the morning.
And possibly have like 2 years left of their life to live.
Yeah, quite possibly. I've only got one that I can think of, and that's I can't remember if it's actually her name. Is it Anna Kendrick, the one from Pitch Perfect?
Oh yeah.
It's
Little
like,
mouse girl.
Yeah, she's like some overbite, goofball, buck teeth, horse face looking motherfucker, but I don't know. I don't know why. Just
it's okay, well that went down fucking well. Okay. I've put you said you wanted to talk about games. Did you actually want to talk about games?
Yeah. I've got a couple.
Guilty pleasure games. You're serious about this?
Guilty pleasure games, and to set the tone, Roller Coaster Tycoon is the tone that I'm going with. This is what I mean by guilty pleasure games. Roller Coaster Tycoon. That putting that when that was back in like XP days that came out, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And going in and set it, Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 specifically, where you could go in and you could like choose the types of attractions that you were allowed to build and spend days and days building it all up, and placing your handyman on the grass so that it was all mowed properly, and just you need to. You can get it on your phone. I downloaded it when I got a new phone and realised it was on there. And
it's probably pay to play though, isn't it?
No. Like the actual PC file is on there, but they just did a touchscreen port of it, and it plays really well. So that was one of my examples.
What about you, Chris? Have you got anything to hand?
What is it? I'm trying to remember which one this is because I quit going to the flea market a while ago, but one of the last times I went, I really like fighters. I mean, I'm not good at them, but I like playing them. So there's this one for PS3, and I can't remember what it is, and it's like it's all girl characters, and it's all like, the stereotypical your mom sees it, what the hell are you watching kind of thing. Yeah. And they're just there fighting, but I mean, it's a good game. And I wish I could remember the name of it right now.
It's not Dead or Alive, is it?
No, it's Aquapazza.
Aquapazza. I can't remember.
They're making a new Dead or Alive.
Dead
or Alive 6. It looks amazing.
We played that after a few beers. Aquapazza. Never heard of that. Never heard of it. Is it?
I hadn't either. I mean, the guy just had it out on the table, and it was cheap enough. I took a shot on it.
And it paid off.
My wife says I'm not allowed to play it in front of other people.
Yes. One game that I'm not allowed to play in front of anyone, preferably including myself, is Dynasty Warriors, or Dynasty Warriors, however you're supposed to pronounce it. I've got a perma ban on anything Koei Temco, like hack and slash games. I love them. They'd literally just sit there, just bashing square, just over and over and over and again, and
beard and nose hair coming out, and t-shirt been on for 4 days. I'm the same with Total War. Right? If I played the Napoleon one, and it's a turn-based strategy game, but when I play it, I'm kind of like, clear my schedule. Nobody fucking talks. I take it seriously. I think about every move. Like I'm tapping my skull. I'm looking. I'm thinking, is that the right move? I'll research whether this move is going to work. Honestly, I can play that for fucking hours and just lose like complete chunks of my life playing that game. So Total War for me. It's on my PC. It's always been on my laptop for years because it started off. They've been going for years now, but it's always there just in case. Just in case, like I need to disappear. That one, Total War for me is amazing.
Another one that I've got is probably the worst game actually ever created in terms of mechanics, but it was awesome. It's Crazy Taxi.
No, that game is amazing, and I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, maybe I'm like actually gauging that wrong then, but I remember even when I first got my PS2. I remember playing it thinking, oh, this is awful. And then 5 hours later, when I'd like filled out the leaderboard and like refreshed it because I'd beat my first score like 20 times, I was like, oh, this is still awful, but I'm still playing it. Loved it.
I like that game. There was that, and there was another one I used to play for the Dreamcast called Jet Set Radio. Did you ever play this?
Yeah,
that's another good one.
It's an amazing game. I put so many hours into that. You skate around and you tag walls and you just go. It reminds me of what's that game that we play?
Splatoon.
Splatoon, but a mixture of
Sunset Overdrive. You're on about
Sunset Overdrive. Yeah, it's like a mixture of Splatoon and Sunset Overdrive. I think them games definitely got influence from that Jet Set Radio. It was fucking awesome. Another one for me was Alex the Kid. Do you remember Alex the Kid?
See, there was never a point to Alex the Kid. I've tried playing that several times over the years. Both, I think I got a copy of it, or my brother or sister had a copy of it, and I didn't get it as a kid. And then I've tried it again years and years later, a few times on emulator, and I never got it. I didn't get what you were supposed to physically do.
It's super difficult. It's so fucking hard. Have you played this one, Chris?
I have. I can't get into it. It's sitting there like almost the era where I start really liking games, but not quite there.
That's what it is for me as well. I think you've just hit the nail on the head. It's like that cusp of like, it's a little bit before what you actually knew what to be excited about in games.
I think the reason I liked it so much is not only because the kid's got the same name as me, of course, but like we had the Master System, and the Master System came with a free game built in, and that was Alex the Kid. Now you'd complete Sonic as many times as you fucking like. You get fed up with that. You get to Golden Axe, and you get to a point where you can't get any further. You get to Streets of Rage, where you get to the boss and you can't beat him, and you get annoyed. And the only thing you got left is Alex the Kid there in your console, or you got no money to buy any new games, and it was just always there. Streets of Rage is for the Mega Drive.
Yeah, I was going to say,
but you know what I mean.
You know what I mean. Got your generations going on there.
You know what I mean. Like, you got no money to get games. You're young as fuck. Like so it was just always there. It was always there. So it was just something I just hammer at, and I became quite good at it. You know. So I loved it. I both loved and hated it because you die. That's it. You know.
Awesome.
Have you got any more guilty pleasure games?
I kind of got addicted a little while back, 360 era, back when they did loads of Avatar stuff. There was an indie section on the store where you could go in, and indie devs had done like an Avatar whatever, and they had an Avatar farm, and it was like remember when Facebook had Farmville, and that was the only Facebook game. It was like that, but you had your avatar, and I had a Master Chief armor on my avatar. And the amount of hours that I lost playing as Master Chief harvesting pumpkins is unreal. I can't even tell you. It's awful. That again quickly got a household veto, and I wasn't allowed to play that anymore, along with Dynasty Warriors.
We have a mutual one as well, Jimmy.
Okay.
And it's the Magic P.
Magic P.
Peggle. Peggle.
Oh, that's been forever since I've played that.
Oh, so good. I just like, it makes me so happy. I'll be like, oh, I've had a shit day at work before I Peggle on for half an hour. I'll just feel so much better about myself.
Do you know what's funny? When so for my birthday, 4 or 5 years ago now, I think it is 4 or 5. My girlfriend bought me an Xbox for my birthday, and got Peggle, got Titanfall, got something else. And I think they were my only 3 games. One of them, I can't remember even what it was. So I really wanted to play Titanfall, but it was online only, and where we were living at the time, the internet was terrible. It just didn't work whatsoever. So I could never get into a game. And when I did, it was laggy as hell, because it was me holding everything up. So all I had after going out and buying like the new console was Peggle 2. And I just remember for about 3 months until we moved and could upgrade the internet, only having Peggle on this brand new console. And I was just like, man.
Oh, it's a great game.
My wife is really into Tetris, so every different Tetris I can get my hands on, I've gotten for her. Ended up with like Tetris Battle Gaiden. Have you heard of that one?
No.
It's a Japanese only release where you have characters that you are, and the pieces come down, and you do your moves, but there are special like bomb type pieces, and if you set those up right, then you get like combo points, and eventually you can use your combo points to do special moves with your character.
Oh, that's awesome.
Cool.
You need to go check it out. It's pretty amazing. Like that Super Puzzle Fighter is pretty good.
I've heard of that. That's great.
Yeah, so Tetris Battle Gaiden is along the same lines as that.
So you got 2 characters in the middle, and when you make a move, he kind of punches the guy, and then he brings his health down. That's great.
But we ended up spending way too long watching Tetris World Championship videos on YouTube.
That's awesome.
That actually exists. That's awesome.
Yeah, like they're doing it in some like mall food court. And you can these guys that are announcing, it's like one of them sounds like he's an intern that he's just kind of using that to step up into something else, and the other one sounds like he hasn't matured a day since he turned 15.
Oh god.
See, I'm kind of disappointed the fact that you said that. I actually wanted it to be like, you know, where they get the shoutcasters and they're like really, really hyped up, like they've had too much Mountain Dew, and just a bunch of people all sat down in rows in like this massive stadium. Have you ever seen those kids play StarCraft and they're like using all the hotkeys on their keyboard and everything to do it all really quick? I'd love to see like the proper world championships of Tetris where like you can't keep up with it and the guys are hyped to shit. I'd love that to be a thing.
It's ridiculous watching what they do.
Really?
I mean, I have no chance at all. But you need to go watch some of those.
But I don't want that on my YouTube history, to be honest. When people come round and you've got Tetris World Championships.
Okay, so watch that and then go back, and I forget who it is now, but watch this guy like perfectly parry Chun-Li's super move away.
Really?
I'll find a link for that because I forget who it is now, and everybody that's listening to this is going to hate me. But this guy had Ken, and he was down to like one hit, he was going to die. Like he couldn't even block something because just the residual damage there would be enough. And he just perfectly parries Chun-Li's special combo move and somehow survives that and then wins the match.
That's awesome. Like the one thing that I will say, like when it comes to like esports and things like that, is it's your shooters that are interesting to watch, but the skill that's involved when you watch fighting games, esports, is absolutely insane. Like the Street Fighter ones in particular, because you brought it up, was just, I remember watching a few matches of that, and they're pulling off moves that I didn't even realize you could chain together.
Yeah, that, I mean, actually reading your opponent, knowing what they're going to do. Does it mean like sports ones I've watched a few times and it's just okay, whatever, you're watching people play Madden.
Yeah,
it's the
but watching people play fighters is just really interesting.
This the size of the move list as well. I had no idea the amount of moves that each character has. It's crazy. So yeah, hats off to anyone that can master that whole game. It's crazy. Right, let's move on to Dickhead of the Week. All right. Jimmy, please say you've got one this week.
Yeah, I've got some random stuff, but it's less of a dickhead and more of a like an oh shit moment. So I was reading a story where they put, when I say they, I'm not even gonna try and go back into it and like back it all up with like the actual accurate who it was and whatnot. I've literally just copied a link after I read it. An AI called Norman, apparently. So I don't know whether you've heard any of this. They basically in a prosthetic AI model basically fed it data from a subreddit, and it's apparently like a notoriously hateful one where it's just they just put stuff up about death all the time. And apparently this AI, because of what it was fed, was literally just obsessed with death and murder after it. It's just like, it was the scariest thing reading into it and realizing the fact that like when like we move into like this age of AI, that whatever its first experiences are, whether it can learn itself or whether we have to feed it some sort of like initial programming to like get that spark going, is its very first experiences are like going to be so crucial. Like they're going to have it completely locked off and in a completely closed environment ready to terminate. Because if you had that like hooked up to the internet or something where like it could upload a data file of itself, like you've just created Ultron. Like, that's all you've done. You've literally just created Ultron.
Why would you hook up AI to fucking Reddit?
I don't-
People avoid Reddit. Everyone avoids Reddit. Why would you hook up AI to it?
There are some really good parts of Reddit. I'll admit that.
I've had some good experiences. I really enjoyed the community there. And do you know what? I've had more experiences than bad experiences. But I went on there and said I liked The Last Jedi, and the hate, the abuse that I got was just crazy. I was like, yeah, I'm stepping away from that. And that was all attached to the Thors-Kin as well. I had the podcast attached to all that hate. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to move away from there. Okay, that's cool. I've got two. I've got a hero of the week, and that's Benedict Cumberbatch. Did you hear about this?
Yeah.
I don't know if any of you listeners understand, realize what he's been up to this week, but he basically saw someone getting mugged in London around the corner from Baker Street, which is where Sherlock Holmes is famously from. And he fended off these muggers and saved this guy. There's a number of them as well. It wasn't just one. He ran over to this. It was Deliveroo. Deliveroo is a food delivery service. They go on bicycles. He was getting attacked. He ran over. He said, "Hey, leave him alone!" And he went and he fought off these attackers, and then just went about his day. Like, it was the Deliveroo guy that brought it up. Like, Benedict didn't even bring it into the press or nothing. So, fucking what a hero.
I'd have loved for him to turn up. You can get like rotating fans with LEDs in it that you can get for the Doctor Strange spell symbols, and they actually look really genuine on your hand. I'd have loved to him to have just happened to have some of those on him at the time, and to turn up in a coat with all those on it. They'd be like, shit, Doctor Strange is...
Well, it's just a bizarre story, like because he doesn't look hard, does he? Benedict Cumberbatch, he doesn't look hard, but I guess like with so much attention attached to you in the press and whatever, you've got to know how to look after yourself. So fair play to him, and also not just that, like the fact that he didn't run to the Sun and be like, I fended off loads of muggers, praise me.
Yeah,
love me. You know, he just went about his day and he said, "Oh, I did whatever any other human would do." No, I'd probably be like, "Oh, what a shame. I'm really sorry about that guy," and carry on. No, I probably would do something, but yeah. So, Chris, did you have anything to bring?
It's been relatively boring over here, which, I mean, I say that it's the same normal bullshit that I don't think is interesting anymore because we see it every week. Nothing really caught my eye.
No.
But down in Florida, I've been acting relatively normal for the past few weeks, so
that in and of itself is the story.
Pretty much.
America's going well.
We're doing well, America. Well done. Did you see another one, Jimmy? Because I've only got one more.
I kind of want it. It's probably kind of stuff you'll bring up on Weekly Bazaar, to be honest. But did you see NASA's announcement? Yeah, they found aliens, man.
Really?
No. No, they found ancient organic matter in 3 million year old rock that technically can in certain circumstances form naturally, but yeah, it sort of indicates that at some point there must have been like methane producing bacteria or something that physically had to have created organic material, because that's what it comes from.
And why are these people dickheads?
No, they're not at all. I'm bringing it up just in the run. I introduced it that way. I said it's probably just a story that you bring it up on Weekly Bazaar.
Send me the link and we will discuss it.
Yeah,
yeah, because that's really cool.
Yeah,
we'll get it up and over.
The fact that like they're getting to that point, it's like they're never gonna. Life doesn't exist on Mars. I don't care who's saying, oh, there's going to be ancient bacteria underground. No, that planet has been without an atmosphere for so long that if it did, it would be the most miraculous discovery ever. But they can make as many almost equally important discoveries, and they'd have to piece them all together and say that almost beyond a doubt proves that life existed. and it's like one more step along that way of it funds the next mission. It spurs on the next project of now we need to look into this. I just hope I'm alive when they find it.
Yeah, I don't want to get into it too much because we could talk about it for hours, but I'd be really disappointed if they were like, "We found alien life," and they just hold up a petri dish. It's alien life, and it's just fucking.
That's what it's gonna be, though.
Yeah, I want to be like, blah, blah, blah. You know, Rick and Morty shit. Like, okay, my last story is a very quick one, a very shameful one. Sainsbury's are in shit. Sainsbury's is a supermarket over here that have been selling vegan and vegetarian food that's got meat in it. They've got.
Oh no.
That's really bad. I mean, I've read the article and I realized when I've posted the link and I've just read by it's kind of like they found traces of pork and they found traces of this and traces of that, but it's still got meat in it. It doesn't matter if it's traces, but you can't. Fuck. We had a serious thing over here a few years ago, Chris, where they were selling horse meat as beef over here. And they'd been doing it for years and not telling people.
Have you had horse? Because I want to try it for real.
I've got a friend who eats horse, and she says it's a horse and goat. Apparently, is really good meat.
Because I've had goat, and I really like that.
I'd struggle with certain things. Like I sometimes go around like certain supermarkets that have the more like the weird stuff in, and they've got like ostrich and crocodile burgers and all like that random stuff, and I'm just like, I don't know whether I want to start. Like I go into almost like vegan mode where I'm like, I don't want to support that industry. But
ostrich is pretty good though too.
And then I'm just like, I wonder what it tastes like though. So I'm like this moral dilemma of I don't want to think about the little ostriches dying, but then it'll be so tasty. It'll be like really super chicken.
I want to eat lion meat just so I can say I've eaten something that's top.
Lion, right? There's a line to the conversation. You know what I'd really like to eat?
You took it to a lion
Siberian tiger.
You Lion King. What?
I'd really like to eat Siberian tiger or the rarest lynx in Russia. Like, what the fuck?
Okay, so that's my dickheads of the week, and that's drawn us to the end of the show. The end of the show.
We're getting German again all of a sudden. Let's wrap it up because you've organised something. It's in the middle of my EA shit right now. That's how privileged you guys are. There's 41 minutes of E3. To be fair, it is EA, so it's like I put out a tweet today. I was like, EA kicking off E3 is like the excitement leading up to Christmas Eve. Like, you know it's happening because Jurassic Park's on TV, but ultimately, fuck all actually happens. So don't worry, it's not the end of the world.
Are we gonna get a new Madden?
Maybe. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if it leaks.
Let me know when you find out.
Yeah, I will do. And same again, I don't know if we're going to get a new FIFA, but apparently they've readdressed the way that the ball physics works, and now it can bounce 3 times in a row before it stops.
Now, FIFA's the soccer game, right?
Yeah, we had to talk about this last week, and we did like an E3 wish list last week, and I was like, I went on a tangent about FIFA and about how badly it plays, and most of our listeners are in the US, and I was thinking, yeah, I probably just lost a few listeners.
I mean, honestly though, you'd be surprised how popular it is over here. I know a bunch of people, they'll never sit around and watch an actual game, but they'll play FIFA.
Yeah, that's crazy. I was talking to people on Twitter as well, like Americans, and they were saying exactly the same thing, that like it's not like popular, but like people get into it, and I would have thought it would just be Madden, like
or NHL.
Yeah,
I like NHL. I love hockey.
Less so, but yeah, we'll see if we get Titanfall 3 and what comes of Anthem.
Yeah. You'll be able to watch the whole conference. There's only one on today, isn't there? So I'm pretty sure you'll be able to get to the beginning.
Yeah, one today. I'll just rewind that and watch it. Microsoft tomorrow, then Ubisoft and Bethesda, and then PlayStation. So
I'm kind of flirting with the idea of doing a Facebook Live show for the E3 reveals, possibly the weekend. So it might happen, it might not. I'm kind of
I say all that like this is like we're actually live and not pre-recorded. Like when this goes out, it's going to be PlayStation going live. So we'll see.
Yeah. Anyway, look, we better wrap this up. We've been going too long. But Chris, absolute pleasure to have you on the show. And if you want to give your show another plug, because I don't know whether people tune in halfway through a show and listen to the end, please by all means give Play Comics another shout.
Yeah, you can check it out over at playcomics.com. Look at video games based on comic properties and how well they stick to that source material. Probably the best 2 episodes to go check out if you want somewhere to jump in is either Little Nemo, I did that one with my wife, or Captain America, The Avengers that I did with Matt Sanderson of Semi-Intellectual Musings. But really, awesome. Any episode is good.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Jimmy, anything
you're going to notice like all your old videos getting views, by the way.
I should hope so.
Yeah, because even if it's just one, because I'm going to start at the beginning and watch you that, because that's right up my street.
Well, let me jump in here too. So anything before Uncanny X-Men, that episode, I had an old co-host, and timing just didn't work out there, so I just started doing the show without him. So there is a co-host that doesn't show up anymore for like the first 12 episodes or so.
Yeah.
And then
cool.
Once we hit Uncanny Episode, it's me by myself a couple times, and other than that, me and whichever guest I can sucker into being on with me.
Cool.
Yeah, you two you guys are definitely trying to find the words. You'd get on really well, you two, I think. So
we're gonna have an accent party, and it's gonna be amazing.
Yes.
I'll watch Forrest Gump so my Southern comes out.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely hit me up if you need a guest on for any of that. If I can make it, I'm not always like the most free and available person, but yeah, send an invite my way, and if I can make it, I'll definitely jump on and do something with you there, man.
Yeah, we'll make it happen.
Awesome.
Well, that's it, I think. Yeah.
Game over. See you next week. You love sending this. Bye. You know what? In fact, I'm going to edit it there. Bye.
Bye.